If you've ever tried to learn a language and just hit that wall, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, today, we're going to dig into how AI is just completely smashing that wall, making fluency something that's way more in reach than ever before.
But, it's the big question, right? Can a robot really make you fluent? I mean, we see these crazy powerful AI tools everywhere, but can they actually take you from zero to holding a real conversation? Is that even possible?
Okay, so the answer is, surprisingly, yes. But, and this is a big but, it's not in the way you might think. This isn't some magic teacher. A much better way to think about it is AI as your personal language co-pilot. Its real superpower is that it's a practice multiplier. I mean, it lets you get in so many more reps than was ever possible before. We're talking about compressing what could have been a month of practice in a traditional classroom into a single weekend.
And that's really our first big idea here. This AI co-pilot, it's basically built to give you three crucial things: a nearly infinite number of practice reps, instant feedback the second you make a mistake, and personalized drills that are designed to zero in on your exact weaknesses.
And listen, this isn't just some cool theory. The data is already coming in. Recent research from just the last year or so confirms it. Using these large language models, the same tech behind tools like ChatGPT, as a supplement to your learning, leads to some really significant, measurable improvements in your vocabulary, your speaking, and even your writing.
Okay, so we know that it works, but now let's get into the why. Why is this so effective? We're going to dive into the science of practice, the proven learning principles that AI just puts on steroids.
For decades, we've known that effective language learning really boils down to four key pillars. You need understandable practice, you have to actively recall what you've learned, you need to review it at just the right times, and you need fast feedback. These ideas are not new. But what is new is that AI can now supercharge every single one of them.
All right, let's start with that first one, comprehensible input and output. It sounds fancy, but it's simple. You learn when you understand messages coming in, that's your input, and then you try to make your own messages going out, that's your output. And AI is just incredible at this. It can give you perfectly level-appropriate stuff to read or listen to, and then it gives you this totally safe space to practice your output again and again and again. But just practicing isn't quite enough, right? And that's where retrieval practice and spaced repetition come in. See, instead of you just passively rereading a word list, an AI can quiz you. It forces your brain to actively retrieve the information, and that's what really builds those strong memories. It can also track how you're doing and reintroduce words or grammar points right before you're about to forget them. That's the magic of spaced repetition. But all of this leads to maybe the most powerful cycle of them all.
This right here, this is the engine of rapid learning, the feedback loop. You try to speak or write something. Bam, the AI gives you an immediate correction, and then you instantly try again with that new knowledge. This super fast cycle is what just shrinks the time between making a mistake and actually mastering the concept. It's a total game changer.
Okay, that's enough of the theory. Let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually do this? Here is a simple three-stage roadmap that'll take you from your very first day all the way to advanced fluency.
So, we're going to break this whole journey down into three clear phases. First, we've got the beginner stage, which is basically your first 2 months. Then you'll move into the intermediate stage for the next 2 to 6 months. And after that, it's all about pushing into that advanced territory from 6 months and beyond.
All right, if you're a beginner, listen up. The key here is consistency, not intensity. Just aim for about 20 to 30 minutes a day. That's it. You could spend 10 minutes having simple conversations with an AI, another 10 doing a vocabulary quiz that makes you really think, and then finish with 10 minutes of listening to something and then trying to summarize what you heard. It's a totally manageable habit, and it builds an incredibly strong foundation.
Now, once you hit that intermediate stage, the strategy changes a little bit. Instead of doing a little bit of everything every single day, you're going to have focus days. So maybe Monday is your speaking day, where you do role-play scenarios. Tuesday could be writing day, practicing emails. And Wednesday is listening day, where you can use AI for things like dictation. This approach makes sure you're getting really well-rounded progress and not neglecting any one skill. And finally, at the advanced stage, your goal is really to bridge that gap to the real world. You can use AI to simulate really complex tasks, like giving a presentation or even handling a negotiation. You can even ask it for a weekly report on your top 5 recurring errors. But here's the most important part. This is when you have to start adding in human feedback. You need a real person to catch those subtle nuances and cultural things that an AI, well, it just can't get yet. Okay, so that roadmap gives you the big picture. Now let's zoom right in on a couple of specific, super powerful drills that you can literally start using today.
This one is my absolute favorite. I call it the 5-minute daily voice sprint. It's so simple. Every day, you just talk to the AI about your day for like a minute. That's it. Let it correct your grammar, your vocabulary, whatever. Then your only job is to repeat the corrected version out loud. It's such a simple habit, but it builds incredible fluency over time.
You know, a really great AI tool also grows with you. I like to think of it as a scenario ladder. So for a beginner, the prompt might be something simple, like, hey, tell me about your favorite food. Easy enough. But as you get better, that same AI can challenge you with something like, debate the pros and cons of local versus global food supply chains. See, it's constantly adapting the difficulty to keep you right in that sweet spot of learning.
All right, last section. Let's talk about what can go wrong. But I don't want you to think of these as just warnings. Instead, think of this as your guide to making sure your practice is always effective.
So here are the 5 most common traps people fall into. First, passive use. Just listening or reading, that's not really learning. You have to actively speak. Second, don't just blindly accept corrections. You got to ask the AI why it was a mistake so you actually learn the rule. Third, if you don't review old vocabulary, you'll forget it. Simple as that. Fourth, and this is a big one, remember that AI is a supplement, it is not a replacement for real human feedback. And finally, don't just practice randomly. You should never sit down without a clear, specific goal in mind.
So let's flip those traps around and turn them into your success checklist. Number 1, practice actively. That means speak and write. 2, understand the why behind your corrections. 3, actually schedule your review sessions. 4, get a real person to check in on your progress every now and then. And 5, set clear, specific goals. Not just get better at French, but something like, I want to be able to have a 10-minute conversation about my work by December. See the difference?
So there you have it. The science, the roadmap, and the daily habits. The AI is ready whenever you are. It really is like having a personal language gym that's open 24/7. So the only question left is, what are you going to practice first?